There is a space where you are all you need, where you are all you want. All there is here. Welcome to the Source Connection, conversations about who we truly are, the possibilities of creation and the new earth we are birthing. With your hosts, Tara Long and Liz B.
Welcome to one more episode of The Source Connection. I'm your host, Liz B, here with my co-host, Tara Long, and our very special guest, Lizel Zeager. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's take a moment to arrive in this space that we are inhabiting. In this now moment, I invite you to close your eyes. If you can, don't do it if you're driving. Find a comfortable place to rest, be sitting down, laying, or standing, whatever feels right to you in this moment. Start deepening the breath. Start activating the three chambers of the lungs, the abdominal, the chest, and the clavicular, really growing into your internal space. If you feel called to it, place a hand on your heart. And just feel the in and out breath for a while. Noticing how active the mind is. Noticing how the bodies are feeling. An opportunity to inhabit more of yourself in this moment. See if you can notice your heart beating. Before we finish, imagine there's a big ball of golden light above your head. And imagine that big ball of golden light just radiates and it embraces all of you and all of what's around you. And as I invite you to open your eyes, see that golden ball of light above our heads, and let's just meet in this space. I hear the birds. Thank you for bringing the birds.
Yes.
So, Lizel, where are you in the world?
Yes. So I am in Hawaii. I am on the island of Oahu, and I live in the city of Kailua.
Awesome. Could you give us a brief introduction about your quest and what brings you to this present moment?
Well, I know that I'm here to help humanity rise. I know that we are in a big shift energetically, and that a lot of us are being called from the woodworks to rediscover our light, rediscover our truth, remember that, and meet people along the way who can help us get back to that space of who we truly are. And I know that I'm one of those people. And that's literally why I'm here today and what brought me to you, lovely ladies.
Yes. Yes. Welcome, light sister.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was just telling Liz before the call, because Lizel and I have known each other for quite a few years now. I was trying to explain your like presence that you have, like, because I'll watch your stories on Instagram. You're just very like rooted, and she's like the laser light. I'm like, yes, that's what it's like, a laser light. You're just like boom. I said like boom or something to people. So
I got chills when you said that. I've never write that down.
Laser light. I am a laser light.
I am the laser light.
The way she described, because I asked her, I don't remember what I had asked, but she said, and then she went like this, and I said, "Oh, like a laser light," and she was like, "Yes."
Yeah. Yeah.
So there you go. Your new Instagram handle is Lizel Laser Light.
That's right.
I love that.
So you, correct me if I'm wrong, you are a divine purpose coach.
Yes.
A manifestation mentor. I always have a curiosity, and I'd like for you to explain to us because I hear the word coach a lot. I've never had an experience with a coach myself. And so, how do you define that in your work and in your presence? And what does that mean to you?
The way I choose to explain it, it's always so far has been one-on-one. But the analogy that I use is, let's say you're a client and you're like, I don't know if I want to work with a coach. I'm not sure if I'm ready. I don't know if this is for me. I don't know. The way that I explain this and shed light on it is I remind you that you're walking a path. You're walking your personal path in life. You're walking your own journey. And so am I. I just happen to be at a point in my journey where I feel like I'm ready to help guide others. So for those people, so I'm walking my path, and those people who cross mine, they're wondering if it would help them to have somebody by their side as they continue to move forward in the path that's meant for them, or if they want to continue, testing out, what's over there and just kind of exploring. Some people want to do that, while others are like, no, get me to where I'm going now because I don't have time to waste and I'm ready to be who I am meant to be. So the way I explain it is you're walking your journey, I'm walking mine. When you choose to work with me as a coach, I'm going to hold space for you, which means I'm going to let you talk and I'm going to let your mind go and say all the things. And I'm not going to think while you're talking. I'm going to let you speak and then respond in a way that allows you to see what you're thinking. Because most people are talking from up here. They don't know what's coming out. So they don't know how their words and how their actions are affecting the universe in a way. So as a coach, I get to pack your backpack for the journey that I see that you're going on. I'll pack you extra water. I'll pack you extra socks. I'll pack you extra snacks. I'll pack you your guitar if you play guitar. I'll pack you extra things that you need as an individual that's going to help you feel comfortable, safe, seen, loved, heard, appreciated as you are walking your journey. And as you go, I'll be like, go, you can do it. and then when there's a big rock in the way, I'll be like, put your right hand higher. Yeah, more, other right. And I'm the one guiding you, but I'm not doing the work for you. So that's how I explain being a coach. I don't do the work for you, but I let you discover that you can do it yourself so that when we're done, you're completely empowered. You're so excited and you've already manifested so much that you've been wanting to. One day I will, but you've already done it now. And since you've done what you've done with me, you could do it for yourself, and you could help others as well.
Bless you.
It's so fun.
Bless you for packing those backpacks.
It's so fun.
It is, isn't it? I love it. Yeah, I know I feel like my main role as a coach is a mirror, like you were talking about. It's just like, here's what you may not be able to see as clearly as someone who's able to reflect that back to you. And then, yes, all of those other things. So you use the word manifestation. I know that's your Instagram is how to manifest and all of that. And that's such a loaded word, right? And like spiritual, like woo-woo, new age stuff. So what would you say is like your perception of manifestation, and how is that like kind of the mainstream law of attraction, and what might be different? You know?
Yeah. So first I'll start with what I think the mainstream idea of manifesting is, and then I'll share how I see it personally, and then through my practice, and then also with the people that I work with on Instagram. So the way that I see, I'll just say mainstream explains manifesting is you think positive thoughts, and then the thing that you want shows up. And it's like 3.5% of the story.
Right.
Nothing really wrong, but you're missing like the entire like iceberg. Like there's so much. So the way that I see manifesting that I've been coaching people for, when did I really start doing the manifesting piece? Like 2018. So 3 years of really deep in the manifestation. That's when I created the account in 2018. Because I saw my life. I was living in Hawaii. I'm not from here. I'm from California. And I was doing the 9-to-5 thing. And it was great. You know, I was what I call surviving at a high level. So nothing was wrong, but there was a lot missing. And I knew that in my heart and my soul, but I just didn't know what. I knew there was more. I didn't know what. So when I was in 2018 and I was living in my dream place, Hawaii, I had my twins. I manifested twins. I had my husband. We were living on the water. Tara remembers. Yeah. And it was just so beautiful. And I was like, if I could manifest this, like anybody can. But what they're putting out, you know, on manifestation, like there's so much more to it. So I'm going to start sharing with people what it is and how to do it. And really the way I see what manifesting really is, it's having a mindset of allowing. Period. Because you can learn and you could, you know, release things and you could do all of that stuff. But if you're not actually and intentionally allowing in what you want, then it's not going to come. It's not.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. So all the trying, the hoping, the wishing, the praying, the you know, the affirmations and the mirror work, like that's great. But you also have to be clear with the universe about what it is that you want. And then when the opportunity shows up, maybe it's a doorway, maybe it's a box. It's not always going to be the thing unraveled on a silver platter, but it shows up and you have to allow it in.
I deeply resonate with that because I feel like since last year and even before last year, one of the biggest lessons for me has been surrendering and allowing. And I didn't know that there was a clear missing piece of the whole manifestation process because I have been exposed to the idea of manifestation through The Secret and then Abraham Hicks. Yeah. And it was always so interesting to hear Esther talk about and like, just don't do the thing that you do. And you're like, okay, well, if I knew how not to do the thing that I do, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Therefore, how does this work? And I love that you're saying like, all right, there's a piece here that's being shared and that's being devoured by people. But what about everything else? Otherwise, everybody would be manifesting everything that they wanted and everything would be being created at a level. And that's not really what we see out there for the most part. And so how do we create, or what are the steps into a mindset, as you said, of allowing? How do we do that?
Well, the first, like when you really want to get like deep in it, one of the foundational pieces, and Tara actually helped me with this, is discover who you're not. Too many people, think that they're this character, this idea, these roles, this name, this birth date, this star sign. They think they're this label. And when they try to put themselves into like this infinite, I'm all these things, but they're attached to the stickers, they're fighting with themselves, and they don't allow themselves to step into the life that they're born to live. They're stuck with, hello, my name is, I'm a mom, right? Or hello, my name is, I'm a, whatever your job title is at work. And so they don't realize that they're limiting themselves, even though they're trying so hard to be so much more than that. And that's where the biggest struggle is helping realize that they're more than just enter whatever it is here, enter label.
Yes, I love that, Lizel. As you know, I'm all about that, dropping it all, and then this like manifestation process. It is really just allowing, as you said, and I found over the years for me and my experience with manifestation, because I've done all the things, right, and like then even years ago, like, oh, I'm not doing it right, or I'm like having a negative thoughts, and then it's ruining everything. All those things, those myths that we that we do. And for me, when I actually like really stop even wanting certain things, not that there's anything wrong with that. Like knowing what you want that's like a beautiful, like that's a very essential step.
Yeah.
And I still go, okay, yes, I want this. Like now I'm car shopping. I'm like, ooh, I want this, and I want it to be this color, so
yeah.
Of course. However, when I'm not attached to even that, and I totally know and trust, like deep within me with absolutely zero doubt, which of course has been a journey to get to as well, that whatever is arising in my world, in my illusion, is what's perfect for me in that moment. And I don't have to actually think about it very much or like really do anything. It's like, so that trust for me has been the biggest, that faith that we are this bigger thing. We are our source, whatever you want to call it. And so when we tap into that infinite intelligence, it's like we can just literally take our hands off the wheel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What is that song? Like, Jesus, take the wheel? Yes.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. I don't have to do anything. So
Literally.
I don't know. Can you explain maybe your journey of like manifestation and how that's looked for you and where, what you feel now?
Yeah. Well, I can share my journey to Hawaii.
Yeah.
That was a journey. So I was born and raised in California. And then the first time I came to Hawaii was in 1999 with my family on a family vacation. We went to Maui, and then we went to Oahu. And on that trip, just so many people would ask, oh, you're from here? Like, you're just going on a staycation? And all four of us, me, my parents, and my younger brother, were like, no, with like these wide eyes, like, no, they think we're here. We're from here. This is so cool. Because we're Filipino and we look like we're from here. And then so we started in Maui, and then we came to Oahu, to this island. And this is where all the things are, right? Diamond Head, Waikiki, North Shore, like Pearl Harbor, Honolulu, all the hula, all the sunset, all the things. And it was so like, wow. And I remember getting on the plane to go back to LAX, and I had the window seat, and the plane was like lifting off, and so when you leave Hawaii, you see Waikiki and you see Diamond Head, and it's like your last views of the island. And I remember feeling this really, really weird feeling that I was leaving home. And I was like, why do I feel like this? I was 16 years old. Why do I feel like I'm leaving home? This is so weird. And I was like, and it hurt my heart. And it was like, but I'm going home. And I was having this like, probably the first, actually, now that I think about it, probably the first conversation or interaction I had with my higher self or my soul, because I was like, I don't know what this is. And of course I was bawling, and my brother's like playing his video game, like not even caring. And then I was like, no. And then ever since then, I'm like, I'm gonna live in Hawaii one day. I'm gonna live it. I'm gonna live there. I'm gonna live there. And I was so attached to it. And I streamed Hawaiian radio. I decorated everything in my house with all the leis that we brought from the house. I had my like sarong with the designs and everything. And I always wore a flower, and people thought I was from Hawaii. And I would say, no, I'm not. And they'd give me a weird look. And I'm like, well, you don't know. You don't know. And I was so attached, and I continued that through college, and then after college, and then through my like grad school. And I was trying so hard to get a job here, to go to college here, to do a field work in my grad school here, to do as much as I could. I was so focused. I was so like, if you were watching the video, my hands were like total fists on like Hawaii. Like, I'm so tight. And it didn't work. It didn't work every single time. It was a no, there's no room, or no, you're not accepted, or no, there's no jobs available, or no, like all these no's. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe it's not time. But I didn't understand anything spiritual, law of attraction, anything. I just thought, okay, maybe I just need to be older. Maybe I need to be married. Maybe I need to, I don't know, do all these things. And then after a while, I actually did let it go. I was like, okay, well, maybe I have to actually be here. Maybe I'm going to retire there, and it's just gonna, that's just what it is. Maybe that's my vacation spot. Like maybe I'll have a second property there or something. I completely let it go. And then, so by that time, so now I was, I don't know, early 30s, my husband and I we weren't married yet. We were engaged, and we wanted to move to Hawaii, or I planted the seed. But his family always went to Hawaii too, so it was all good. It wasn't like random. And he's like, sure, yeah, let's look at buying a house there. We had a condo in Orange County, and then let's look at buying a house. Didn't end up working out. We ended up having to stay in California, and I was like, oh. And we still had our tickets to go house hunting here. So when the time came, we were like, well, we're still going to go. Let's just make it a vacation. And I thought, well, what if we made it like a wedding venue, like exploration trip? And he was like, oh, okay, cool. His family's in Northern California. My family's in Southern California. So either way, 50% is going to travel. Might as well, why not have everyone travel, go to Hawaii? So we found our venue, and I was like, oh, I can have my dream wedding in Hawaii. Something's working out. This is great. So we had it here. It was awesome. Went back. Oh, then we had our honeymoon, and we were like, we island hopped, and we were like, how do we make this our real life? Because we were looking around. Okay, we were staying on an organic farm in Kauai, and then we stayed in a oceanfront condo in Kona with the sunset view right there, orange, pink. And then we stayed in a tree house in Volcano on the Big Island, and we were like, we have to make this work somehow. It's gonna work. So a year after that is when we were like, we were working really hard at our 9-to-5s. I was working in the medical field. He was working in leasing, in finance. And we were both doing really, really well in our jobs. We had the cars, we had the nice cars, we had the nice house, we had all the things that people think that makes everybody happy. Our friends would come over and they're like, oh, when I grow up, I want to be like you. Oh my God, this is my dream house. Oh my God, I love your car. It was like all of that. And it was like, okay, we were like empty, right? So after a year after we got married, so we were like, how are we going to make this work with our jobs? We were like, we could just drop everything, sell everything, quit everything, and then just move to Hawaii and then start fresh there. We don't have kids. We don't have any ties here. And so, I mean, other than all our family and friends and everybody we ever knew, but there's more people in Hawaii, right? So we're like, okay, let's do it. So it worked out because we sold our house in like 2 weeks in Orange County. Nice. And then we sold 90% of everything we owned. We sold our cars. Oh my God, I an amazing car. And we packed up 6 luggages. And our dog Sylvester is this little 7-pound Yorkie on my lap in the plane. And now we're here. And how I manifested all of this was I let it go. I trusted that I was going to come here, but I had no control over the how, and I had no control over the when. I just literally had to let it go, just put it way over there. And as soon as I did that, what I believe is I released the neediness of the energy I had around Hawaii. And then Hawaii said, "Oh, look, she's finally calm. She can come now."
And like it felt the grip of the hands just released. It was like, oh, okay, great. Yeah, sure. Just come.
Yeah, you gotta be chill. You gotta be real chill if you're gonna be going to live in Hawaii. So
yeah, so that's to me, like personally, like the whole like journey of that, right? And like when we're a leader, when we're a light worker, when we're somebody who's a role model or someone that's like out of the box and ready to be seen, you have to go through this like hero's journey of like climbing up this mountain and bumping into rocks and hitting dead ends. You have to, because how else are you supposed to guide others up to their mountaintop?
mm-hmm.
So that's how I feel about manifestation and what it is and what letting go really means. It was so intense, but once you get it, you get it, and things just start flying into your lap.
Oh yeah, I'm liking this. Let's tune that into the state of the world right now, because personally I feel like there is a higher calling for me to be closer to nature, to be in rhythm with Mother Earth in a way that's grander than what I can experience in my box in the middle of Los Angeles. And there's always that question of how do you do this? And well, I can run, but I can hide. And so everything just feels so inflamed right now in so many different ways, anywhere you look. And what does that process, I guess I'm trying to come up, I don't know if it's a question or just an observation, but the act of surrendering, even getting clearer on where to go to, seems confusing to me at the moment. So it's not like I have that clarity of like, that's exactly where I would like to go. I know what sparks interest in my spirit. And when I hear Mexico, I go, yeah, right? For example. And then when I hear whatever other place, I'm like, no, not really. Or right. But because of the state of everything right now, everything seems so unstable and just so, we are on the precipice of something. We all know this, and we're all here, in this soul agreement. As Tara was saying, sometimes for me, just taking that step back and knowing from what you exactly said, like that there's an inner knowing that knows to guide and to support in whatever way that needs to. And that's why I feel like I've always had a hard time with the concept of vision boards and things like that, because I felt like I was pinning myself to a very small idea of what I thought I wanted, when the universe had all the possibilities and things that I couldn't even have imagined yet. And I guess with that, maybe we can talk a little bit about these myths, right? Well, if you don't know, you can't get it. Or if you don't do this, it's not going to work. Or if you do it like that, it's the wrong way, or whatever thing. And so even with affirmations, for me, I've never felt inclined to them, because I felt like I was betraying what I was really feeling, or how I was really being embodied in that moment. And just so all of that. And I know that you're good about, good at talking about those myths, and just, guys, let's get this clear once and for all.
Yes, let's. Well, so a couple of things. So first I'll talk about like the affirmations and those words and the vision boardy stuff. I call it 3D stuff. A lot of it's for the mind. And then I want to shift into the situation you were talking about where like, I don't know, with the state of the world, I don't know where I'm going. So first we'll start with the myths of affirmations and vision boards and stuff. What I see is when we're creating vision boards, from like magazines, newspapers, that stuff, or printing stuff out from the internet and then gluing it on something physical. So there's that. And then there's also affirmations that people get from Instagram, from Pinterest, and they're like, oh, this is nice. And then they write it. I'm going to write it 100 times because when I write it 100 times, then that means it's going to come true, basically. That's a lot of those actions come with energy that comes from limitation. Because when you're doing those actions, there's still an element of doing it right and doing it wrong. And when you're coming from that space of separation, there's no way to be whole from it. So when you can, and then of course, if you don't know who you are, then you're making stuff as the person that you're not. So then it doesn't happen, right? So what I advise people to do when they want to have affirmations to speak or mantras to repeat for themselves is to read all of them, read them out loud to yourself and see how the words feel when they come out of your mouth, because we are the channel. Our body is the channel, and we have to test things versus using our mind to tell us what's right or what's wrong. Our body knows. Our body has the infinite knowing. So, like I am abundant, right? So if I'm like, I'm abundant, but inside I'm like, but I only have $100 in my bank account. And I'm like, but I'm working 3 jobs and they all suck and I hate what I do. But you're saying I'm abundant. Then you're hitting the brake and the gas at the same time on yourself, and you're allowing yourself to be stuck. So what people don't know about affirmations is what's going on in your head about them. And this is the stuff that needs to be released because it's not you and it's not helping you make that thing come true.
Precisely. Yes.
Yeah. Tara actually introduced me to the idea that we are the channel, and it blew my mind. And then once I understood it, I was like, oh,
Right.
Okay. This changes everything.
Whole new world.
Because then all of a sudden I had the power.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Let's just break that down really quickly before we go into the other part. So what I hear you saying is that there's a whole set of ideas that is behind what we're saying, right? When we say I am abundant, I am beautiful, and then we're questioning those statements as we speak them. And unless we get that cleared out and we break down those stories about who we are, the things that we've done, et cetera, unless they're cleared out from that background, you're trying to do something, but you're preventing yourself from doing it.
Yes.
So it's almost like a thing that you're going, but you're not really going because there's no coherent force moving in one direction.
Yes, correct. Okay. I have another analogy, a more physical one that will help that I like to use too. So I like food.
Yes.
I like food. Food. I like food.
Yes.
Okay. I don't cook a lot. I don't bake a lot, but I understand the concept of food and making food. So here's one that I use a lot is imagine you're baking a vanilla bean cake. Okay. You're baking a vanilla bean cake and you have the ingredients and you have the this and the, flour. I don't know, anything. Anyway.
Flour.
Right?
Flour maybe. I don't know.
Vanilla drops. Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
So you put all the things in, you mix it around, you pour it into we're making muffins, into the muffin pan, you put it in the oven, bake, comes out, yay, you open it up, white, yay, beautiful, fluffy, yummy, delicious, okay? You did it right. When you're manifesting and you're putting doubt and fear and worry and anxiety in the recipe that you're going to bake. It's like putting food coloring in your batter. It's like putting blue, green, red. Are there more? You're putting all of these things and you're mixing it all and you put it in, you're like, I did it. And you take it out and it's like different colors. Parts are black, parts are brown, some are weird, some are white. And you're like, why didn't it work? It's because energetically you're putting food coloring that's not supposed to be in there, that you're not intending in there. But while you're mixing, those little, we'll call them elves from your ego mind, they're like, drop, 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 drop. And you don't know it. You don't know it. So this is where coaching and working with someone who can be a mirror can be helpful, because they can help you where you don't see. It's all about shedding light on the blind spots.
It's so about holding the hands of the elves and being like, over here, over here. We're not messing that up this time.
Yes. Goodbye, little elves. We don't need you anymore.
Yeah.
It's that purification process, basically, of the self, the not self.
Yes.
You know, and that happens in its own process. But
totally. And
sometimes we have to eat those like weird brown, green, red muffins to be like, wait a minute, this is not what I want.
Wait, this does not look like the picture on Pinterest, okay?
Like the picture, and it doesn't taste right.
Have you ladies seen that there used to be, I don't know now, and I don't know if it was a website, but somebody, I remember years ago, like the Pinterest fails, where people would pull the picture of and then this is what happened.
Yeah.
This cute little like rabbit cookies or whatever thing, and then the person they're like, that
It looks like a gremlin. It's like
like a blob.
Yeah.
like just the thing that you're like, oh yeah, that didn't work out. I love the analogy of the baking, because baking is it's such a science and it's so precise. And we're talking about not only the science of it, but we're talking about something even bigger than the science, that it's energy and life itself. And so it's almost like trying to put something that's bigger than that into a thing that's very easy to understand. Because all of a sudden it's visual, you can taste it, you can touch it, and it's like, oh yeah, I get this. Of course, how am I going to bake this? How am I going to do a red velvet cake if I put food blue, green? Yeah, that's just not going to work.
Yeah. Exactly.
How do you see people sabotaging themselves throughout? Because
yes, that's a fun
in the process of allowing an element of self-deservance and self-worth, that I feel like it's a big plug, right? That it's not necessarily connected for most people. That was my biggest thing for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an unconscious process. And then I would find myself in this moments of like realizing like, oh, here I am again playing that I'm not worthy enough.
Yeah.
Or good enough for this. And so maybe let's talk about how do people sabotage and, and how do you see that happening? And I feel like that can bring clarity and awareness for some people listening.
I think I could say, 3 to 4 to 5 things, but the main deep foundation of it is people's attachment and connection to their past.
Mm.
And it's the identity that created their past. It's more specific. So for me, my name is Lizel. I think I'm Lizel. And Lizel is Filipino, and she's married, and she's a business owner, and she has kids, and she lives in Hawaii. All of these things under the name, right? But those are just things that I was able to experience through living my life with that name. Mm-hmm. And it's great to have that experience under my belt, so to speak, but that's not me. Those are just things that I have experienced. So the biggest blocks that I have seen, especially in the last year, are people don't think they're good enough. They don't think they're worthy. The second one is they don't think they're ready, or they don't think that they like can. And then the third like main one is they don't even know that they have the opportunity to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to invite everybody to just take a pause here and close your eyes and touch in your heart and just feel this presence of self-worth in this space right now. So many of us are walking around, as Lizel says, because of our stories and the experiences that we've had in life, detaching ourselves from our worth. I offer this space as a moment of connection of us and our worth, and the unlimited beauty, grace, joy, and fulfillment that comes from that. I felt the laser light.
Lizel's laser light. Woo!
I was expecting it to come like this. It was straight up like, and I was like, okay.
That's the source connection.
That's the source connection, baby.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny how we argue with whatever you want to call it, source, God. We're like, no, I'm not worthy. No, but wait, you're here. You're created out of all that is, just like everybody else. No, but I'm an exception. I'm not worthy. It's like this argument that we have, which of course we have compassion for because it's our mind, it's our ego, but it's also very arrogant to separate ourselves out. It is of God, of being that. Like, come on, really? You think that you and all the whole world, you're the only one who's not worthy of like all the things, So I just like to throw a little jab in there for people who get activated with like, yeah, right.
Yeah. I have a question for you girls.
Yeah.
Have you read the Celestine Prophecy?
Yes.
I have.
I just discovered it the last couple months. So you guys who are listening, this is a sign.
That's a good one.
It's a good book. It's very entertaining to read it.
Oh, yeah. It's good.
Not like, man, they're like, okay, I'm gonna read it. You're like, whoa, what? Wait.
Yeah.
Very captivating.
Oh yeah, like right from like author's note in the first page in the book. But what it does is it allows. I can share what it did for me. So it allowed me to reflect on my life in real time, which was really cool because this book was written however many years ago. And even like with the deep inner work and the coaching, all the stuff that I do, there was so many elements to like what we're here to learn as we discover more of who we are and what we can actually do. Like we're not special. I'm not special. I just chose to release the stories, and I chose to release the baggage that my parents carried. And I chose to release the baggage that, old versions of me carried, because like, if you think about it and you think about your future version, like your highest version of you, does he or she have those limiting thoughts, beliefs, fears, anxieties? Do they live with those things every day? Probably not. And if they don't, then what are you doing holding on to those right now? If that's the direction that you're walking, just let it go. And you're going to help yourself in the process.
And everybody, the whole world.
Oh, yes.
Right? I mean, just by being your lighter self is such a gift to the world. Like you don't have to do anything. You're just like, oh. And I love that you touched on this, like, I'm not special. I mean, in a way, of course, we're all unique and beautiful and special and blah, 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 all that, all that stuff. However, the need to feel special is still this lack belief of I am not good enough, I'm not worthy. So then it's like, oh, make me feel, I need to feel special. Oh yes, I am the one that's doing this and that. And yes, you are. However, you can't be more special than just like being God and being source, being what you are. Like, that's it. That's enough. Like, there isn't anything else we need to add on to that to make you feel more validated, So I love that you said that word.
We just had to.
I feel like with that comes a deconstruction of the lies and the deceit of the world that we've come accustomed to, in a way, because when you start stripping away the degrees and the accomplishments and all of that, and really connecting to your presence, that is so powerful, that is so important, that is so deep, then all of a sudden things start to fall away, in a different perception of reality starts to set in. And oftentimes I've had friends tell me, oh, that's terrifying for me to think about, or I don't want to look into that. And I like saying, well, but being on the other side of bullshit is liberating. There's such freedom that comes with just kind of seeing things for what they are and not romanticizing things anymore. And then you're faced with, how are you going to be in relation to all of this? Because that's your ultimate choice, right? And then you're free to make whatever decision that you like. And I think that there's so much power and beauty that comes with that, this embodiment.
I agree.
I want to touch on the stories really quick.
Yeah.
Because while both of you were speaking, both my parents have passed, and my mom passed last year. Mm. And I can touch parts of me that have died through that, and parts of me that were ignited through that process, because all of a sudden I didn't have certain stories anymore to hold on to. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, wait. So I get to then choose now. And the power of that creator mentality, it's so invigorating. And I feel like oftentimes on the other side of fear is creation. We talk about love, but there's also creation, right? How can we infuse the places in ourselves that are disconnected or that feel unworthy with creation? Well, what did you come here to do? And that can shift throughout your life, and it doesn't have to be just one thing. And I feel like we've been duped into that also. What is your purpose? Like, there's only one thing that you're supposed to do, and you cannot be multifaceted or whatever thing. And so I invite everyone to also see the shedding of the stories as opportunities for rebirthing. Nothing dies without something being born, because energy is always transmuting. And so the fear will be there, but the freedom and the liberation and the opportunities are also right on that other side.
Yeah.
Woo. Yes. Bringing it back to manifestation. So
Yes.
The more stories that we unravel in ourselves and disbelieve, the more that manifestation power is it's just who we are, and it just comes, and it's literally, we always talk about that, so you don't try to manifest, that trying energy, like you're saying, it's a grasping thing, and nobody wants that. Nobody and no thing ever wants that. Right. And it's not coming to you if you're putting that out.
Right. I mean, okay, think about, okay, you go to a bar and you're like, I'm just going to have a glass of wine and just be out because I don't want to be in my house and I want to have this wine and it's going to be nice. And then this guy comes over and he's like, I need you in my life. You're beautiful. And you're like, get away.
Right?
Right? Same thing. So all in all, if you can imagine yourself being on the other side of the manifestation, how do you want to feel? Do that.
Yes, do that.
Mm-hmm.
Do that. Just do that.
Just do that. If you want to do something, do that.
Do that.
Otherwise, just be. Just be.
Just be.
That's a great tip right there, guys. Did you take notes? That's very important. And oftentimes, I think when people look into the ways that they've manifested situations, circumstances, opportunities, people, things, objects, whatever thing, it's when, and you touched this in the very beginning, it's when you let it go and you didn't think about it anymore. And you put that intention, you created that, planted that seed. And then when you receive it, you're like, oh yeah, wow, awesome.
Oh, that is something I wanted. I mean, I think we can all agree, and everybody listening probably is the same. Anytime you have ever like tried for something, wanted something so bad, it never works. But if you can think of any amazing thing that's ever happened to you in your life, what is the state you were in when that thing revealed itself to you or unfolded or whatever? You were not thinking about it. You weren't focused on it. You were in a state of like joy and surrender, whatever. I mean, and the reason in my experience why we want to try and hold, because we think if we don't, it won't happen, or this, whatever, we have to be the ones to do something. And if you do let that energy go, however slowly that happens for you, and even if everything in your life, you lose it, right? It falls away, all the money, all the stuff, all the great. Yes, do that. And then watch from there. I mean, that's been my experience in these past years. I mean, Lizel knows I got rid of everything. I mean, everything. I had no money. I know nothing, like nothing.
So I just leave clothes with me.
What's that?
She even had to leave some clothes with me.
Oh yeah, I left the chair Lizel's sitting in. I left this chair. I mean, so much. I just was like, no, and so everything fell away. And then if that has to happen for you, let it happen for you. It's beautiful. And it can be uncomfortable for sure, but that's life, folks.
And everything is temporary.
Yes.
Everything.
Yes. Even the discomfort, it's all temporary.
Yeah. Just like Liz was saying earlier, like just get to the other side of bullshit. And once you're there, you're free. But so many people are attached to the person that they are, being attached to the bullshit. But I have, and so people are attached to the buts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just let the buts go, because that's what's keeping you from what you want.
Yes. So many juicy and rich nuggets in this conversation.
I know. Lizel, is there anything you want to leave us with?
Yes. Well, two things.
Yes. Two things.
Two things. Short. I have my course out. It's a 5-day manifesting money challenge.
Ooh.
So that's on my website, which is lizelzeager.com. And this is all new. This is my 4th baby that I birthed this year. Literally, that's what it feels like.
Oh.
I'm just here to hold space and allow people to clear away their money bullshit and actually allow in the abundance that they want so badly, but doing it in a way where they're doing the work while having fun. And then it's really just see what you can do here, and then know that here you could do it anywhere. You could do it with love, you could do it with opportunities, you could do it with anything, not just money, right? Because everything we do, what is it? Because how we do one thing is how we do everything. So living in that space of alignment, you practice with money, you have a lot of fun with money, do it elsewhere. So it's a really fun thing that I am launching and setting off into the world for everybody to play. And then the second thing that I want to say is, if you're feeling challenged, stuck, scared, worried, anxious, all of these things, but you know that you're here to make a big positive impact in the world, just know that the universe is testing you, because it's testing you to see if you can hold the light that is coming.
Deep breath, hold that in.
That light.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you, Lizel, for being here today.
Thank you. Thanks
For
for having
sharing
me.
your laser light with us.
I love that so much.
I think that the next one is going to be laser light with Lizel. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
that's right. Our next one we do together will be.
Okay, we're manifesting.
Yeah, for your laser shields, open up. Just come open and allowing.
I love that.
Thank you for sharing your life with us and everyone listening.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thanks, Lizel.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, Esther. Give me
Yes.
Bestie. Hi, little baby dog.
this.
Beauty.